Such a beautiful sound. Welcome to Queerly Red, where I find ways to see rainbows everywhere and queer your favorite pieces of media. And this time we're talking about everyone's favorite Nazi punching monster shooting. Big Red Boy, the right hand of doom. Although Hellboy was created by Mike Mignola, we'll be discussing Guillermo del Toro's take on the character. And yeah, there was that one other movie, but I stopped listening around dark and gritty and doesn't have Ron Perlman in it. As anyone who has even a passing knowledge of Guillermo del Toro's work should know, monsters aren't always monsters, and sometimes people are monsters, and monsters are abstract ideas. Hellboy definitely fits into the category of monsters that aren't actually monsters. In fact, he tries to be more human. But he's still marked as different, just like everyone else at the BPRD, the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. And I know, some of you will say, but different doesn't mean Hellboy's queer. And I might agree with those some of you, but then the second movie came out.
You have more in common with us than with them.
Traditional families.
But it all starts in the first movie. Names are important to queer people, as trans and non-binary people are the most visible examples of this importance, but we all care about what we are called, and with a name of our own, we can declare ourselves free from the expectations and demands of others. Honestly, might do some good for straight people as well. Hellboy has two assigned names. Hellboy, a big red boy who loves cats and eating chili.
And Anu Unrama, right hand of doom, son of the fallen one, destroyer of the earth.
Both names are technically assigned to Hellboy, one by the old guard representative Rasputin and the other by his adoptive father, Professor Broom. But there's a difference.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
Both names do carry their own set of expectations and demands, and the first movie is basically a conflict between these two father figures through Hellboy. And although he does go with Broom's expectation of him, Hellboy does have this one nagging gripe with that. The boy wants out. So, Hellboy lives in a closet. A heavily armored closet filled with cats, old TVs and a god-awful pickup truck bed. But a closet still. And he's only let out when he's needed by the human-led BPRD. He can see the Nomos, but the Nomos must never see him. Oh yeah, and they ride around in a garbage truck. That's, a potential area of analysis as well. And this is all part of Broom and, the BPRD's plan for Hellboy. Keep him in a closet unless he's needed. Totally unlike big companies that make low-effort shows of support to the queer community once a year to rake in that pink money while not doing anything concrete or meaningful. But it's in the second movie where the Rainbow Brigade starts to really ramp up their game. Hellboy got out, yay! And with that comes the realization that out isn't that good after all.
You're ugly, man.
When Hellboy was just something to speculate on, he was a curiosity, an interesting possibility. But when he's in your neighborhood, suddenly the only interest they got is in him not being there. Also interesting casting with the officer who thinks Hellboy has a weapon even though it's just his hand, very And this is one of Hellboy's main internal conflicts in the second movie. Where does he belong? The magical or the human world? As Hellboy himself says,
Nobody's looking at us.
he might not be normal in the magical world either, but he is only as different as anyone else. I mean, it's a lot better than being called a threat to traditional families on national television.
It's a threat to traditional families fueled by federal.
The second movie is also where we get a discussion about inherent qualities, and it kinda gets a bit from a queer perspective. Inherent qualities have been part of the discussion about queerness for a long time because it can validate its naturality. we do what we are. In Hellboy 2, we hear talk about the true nature of things, like that humans consume all around them and elves are massive pushovers, or that the Prince of the Elves will never stop trying to destroy the humans, or that Hellboy inevitably destroys the Earth as prophesied, which is confirmed by death itself, and Abe seeing Hellboy as the right hand of doom with glasses that are meant to show the true nature of things. Couple of ways to take this. 1. All his attempts at fitting in are futile and his identity as Hellboy is only a temporary phase before he inevitably goes back to his assigned at birth identity as the destroyer of the Earth. 2. It's not his Hellboy identity that is futile, but his attempt at being like the normals. Instead, he should embrace his difference and stop trying to uphold their values. And by the end, it seems that option 2 is what the movie proposes. Hellboy and friends leave the BPRD and go find their own place in the world. Together, the two films can be read as a story about Hellboy rejecting his identity assigned to him at birth and later also rejecting another identity assigned to him by a benevolent, although a bit misguided father figure, and instead embracing his difference. Oh right, and that whole end of the world thing. Well, what queer person hasn't thought about destroying the world of the straights?